Have you ever felt different? Not better, not superior, just different. Like your soul doesn't fully belong here, like something deep within you is set apart. That feeling is not your imagination. It's not personality. It's not introversion. It's not trauma. It's a mark, an invisible seal, placed by the very hand of God. Charles Spurgeon once said, "When God chooses a man for himself, he marks him." This is not just poetic language, it's a spiritual reality. Those who are chosen are different. They cry without knowing why. They long for things this world can't give. They carry a weight they didn't ask for. They are called, and the calling doesn't always come with a microphone. Sometimes it comes with silence. Sometimes it comes with pain, with rejection, with spiritual hunger no sermon seems to satisfy. But this mark, this invisible sign that heaven sees, is a sign of belonging, of destiny. You are not here by accident, and you are not like everyone else. You were never meant to be. You were handpicked, set apart, and refined, not for comfort, but for calling. This video is not just a message, it's a mirror. If you felt out of place, like your spirit doesn't fit the world around you, like your soul is being pulled into deeper waters, then listen closely. We're going to uncover a truth that Spurgeon preached with fire, that God's chosen ones carry a sign, a mark, an identity written in the unseen realm. We will explore what this sign is and why it often brings suffering, how to recognize it in your own life, why being chosen is not about being favored, but about being formed. You're not just watching this video, you're remembering something your soul already knows. The world may not see it, but heaven does. And if you've been waiting for confirmation, this is it. You are chosen. The sign of the chosen is not seen with human eyes. It's not a tattoo, not a title, not a role in church. It's something deeper, spiritual, undeniable. Once you've felt it, it shows up in the ache that no success can satisfy. It reveals itself in the moments when everyone around you celebrates, but your heart quietly asks, is this all there is? You try to blend in, you try to be normal, but your soul won't settle because the mark is there. Spurgeon once wrote, "The Lord's people are a peculiar people, not in dress or in speech, but in heart." You may have wondered why you feel so different, why your convictions are stronger, why you feel grief over things others laugh at, why certain conversations make your spirit shrink, why the presence of God feels like oxygen, and his absence suffocating. That's the sign. It is not religion, it is recognition. You've been claimed by heaven, and earth doesn't quite know what to do with that. This mark reveals itself in your tears, in your longings, in your craving for purity, in the burden you carry when no one's watching. You see injustice, and you weep. You hear truth, and it burns in your bones. You worship, and something inside of you trembles. Others may say, it's just your personality, but deep down, you know, it's not personality, it's destiny. You are not trying to be set apart. You are set apart. Spurgeon said, God's elect are known by their longing for holiness. They mourn over sin, not just in the world, but in themselves. You carry that longing, you carry that mourning, and in it, God sees his own. You didn't choose this path because it's easy. You were drawn to it, like a flame pulling at dry wood. And that pull will never leave you, because he who called you, marked you, and he who marked you will never let you go. There is a mark that shines brightest in the fire, and that mark is perseverance. The chosen are not spared from pain, they are refined by it. Spurgeon once said, trials are the furnace in which God proves his gold. Those who carry the sign are often the ones who suffer the most, not because God has forgotten them, but because he is shaping them. Look at Joseph, chosen, dreamed of greatness, but before the palace came the pit, betrayed, sold, imprisoned, forgotten. And yet, Joseph never let go of the God who never let go of him. That is the mark. It's the refusal to curse God when life crumbles. It's faith that holds on, not when things are easy, but when nothing makes sense. You've been there, the diagnosis, the divorce, the silence, the grief. You've cried out, "Why, Lord?" And heaven was quiet, but you didn't quit. You got back up. You kept praying. You kept believing. That is not weakness. That is the sign. Spurgeon wrote, God never wastes the sorrows of his saints. He turns every tear into a seed of glory. Do you feel worn out? Do you carry battle scars that no one sees? Then know this: you are not disqualified. You are distinguished. The fire did not burn you. It baptized you. You came out changed, humbled, softened, purified. Job lost everything, and in his pain he declared, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust him." That is the voice of the marked, not those who avoid the storm, but those who worship in it. You may walk with a limp now, but so did Jacob after wrestling with God, and that limp was his mark of encounter. The chosen are not the ones with perfect lives. They are the ones with persevering hearts. So if you've been through the valley, if you've wept until you had no words left, if you've trusted even when your hands were empty, take heart. You bear the mark, and heaven knows your name. The chosen carries something rare, a sensitivity that most ignore. It's not about emotions, it's about spiritual perception. You don't just believe in God, you feel when he moves, and you ache when he is silent. Spurgeon once said, "The nearer a man lives to God, the more intensely he feels the absence of his presence. To the world, it's invisible. But to you, when heaven is quiet, your soul weeps. Why? Because your heart is tuned to the frequency of his voice. This is the sign. You sense when something grieves the spirit. You cry for no reason, because your spirit feels what words cannot explain. You walk into a room and feel the weight of what others pretend doesn't exist. You are not crazy. You are marked." C.S. Lewis once wrote, "The fact that our heart yearns for something earth can't supply is proof that heaven must be our home. That yearning is part of the sign. When others seek distraction, you seek depth. When others are satisfied with noise, you long for the whisper of God. That's why superficial things can't hold your attention. That's why shallow faith feels like betrayal to your soul. You were made to burn, and so you do, even when the world is cold." Spurgeon preached, "God's chosen are not satisfied with crumbs when they are called to feast. You hunger for his presence. You crave his nearness. And when you feel distant, you don't run. You kneel. It's this sensitivity that keeps you humble. It's what makes you weep over sin, not just yours, but the world's. And it's what drives you to worship, not just in church, but in secret. You've asked, why do I feel so deeply? Why can't I shake this burden? Because you carry the sign. The world numbs. You discern. The world forgets. You intercede. That's not weakness. It's your calling. If you feel this, if your heart breaks for things eternal, if your spirit is stirred when others are asleep, then take courage. You are not too sensitive. You are spiritually alive. And the mark you carry is evidence of your nearness to God. When you carry the sign of the chosen, you will walk through seasons of divine silence. It is one of the hardest parts of the journey, to feel set apart, yet forgotten, to know his word, yet not hear his voice. But Charles Spurgeon reminds us, "The Lord may hide himself, but he never forsakes." Silence is not absence. It is the sacred pause where faith is tested, where trust is purified. The chosen ones often feel most alone right before they are most anointed. God does not shout over noise. He whispers in stillness. In the scriptures, Elijah sought the Lord in the wind, the fire, the earthquake, but the voice of God came in a gentle whisper. So, it is with those who carry his mark. The world will interpret the silence as distance, but heaven sees it as intimacy. It is in these quiet places that your roots grow deep, where your prayers are not loud, but real, where your tears become worship, where your dependence becomes total. Spurgeon once said, "I have learned to kiss the wave that throws me against the rock of ages." So if God feels distant, draw nearer, not with loud words, but with a still heart. Because those whom God uses most, he often hides first. And when he speaks again, you'll know it wasn't your effort that sustained you, but his unseen hand. The chosen often walk through seasons, where heaven seems quiet, no visions, no feelings, no signs, just silence. But silence is not absence, it is refinement. Spurgeon preached, "When God is silent, it is not because he is far, but because he is near in a deeper way." The world craves noise, confirmation, applause, but the mark of the chosen is the ability to keep walking in obedience, even when the heavens say nothing. You don't feel God, but you obey Him. You don't see answers, but you keep praying. You don't feel strength, but you keep standing. This is the invisible seal, not emotion, not sensation, but faith that walks through the fog and still follows the shepherd. Spurgeon said, "It is in the valley of stillness that the soul learns to hear the voice of God most clearly." You are not forgotten, you are being trusted, because the sign of the chosen is not how loudly they worship in the light, but how faithfully they wait in the dark. So if your life feels quiet, even cold, know this: the silence may be the sound of heaven shaping you. You are still chosen, still sealed, still His. How do you know? If you've been marked, not by applause, not by outward success, but by signs that only heaven recognizes. Charles Spurgeon wrote, "The soul marked by God is restless until it finds rest in Him." The chosen carry symptoms, holy symptoms, not of disease, but of divine distinction. Have you ever felt a deep grief over sin, even when others shrug it off? Wept in worship without knowing exactly why? Found yourself unable to laugh at what the world finds funny? Had a burden for souls you've never met? These are not coincidences. These are indicators. Do you wake up with a weight you cannot explain? A sense that you're meant for more, even when you don't know what that more is? Do you long for purity in a world that celebrates perversion? Do you feel like a stranger, even among those who share your faith? This is not isolation, it's identification. You're not weird, you're marked. Spurgeon said, "Many who are saved walk like strangers in the world, for their citizenship is in heaven." The chosen live with a quiet ache, a longing for a kingdom they've never seen, but know is real. They wrestle more deeply, they repent more quickly, they pray more urgently. There's a tenderness in their spirit, but also a fire in their bones. They are burdened with holy things, not because they are better, but because they've been set apart. If you've ever felt an invisible pull toward God, while everything in your life seemed to push you away, if you've ever felt like you're in a battle that no one sees, if you've cried in silence, wondering why you feel everything so deeply, that may be the sign of one who is marked, chosen, set apart. Spurgeon once said, "The man of God will never feel entirely at home until he reaches the home prepared for him." So, don't ignore the symptoms. Don't suppress the ache. They are not a curse. They are the confirmation. And if you carry this sign, you're not alone. You are among the chosen, and God is not done with you yet. To be chosen is not just a comfort, it's a commission. You were not marked to sit still. You were marked to move toward God and toward your divine assignment. Charles Spurgeon wrote, "Election is not a pillow to rest on, but a spur to move us forward in holiness." You were not called to fit in. You were called to follow, even when it costs you. So what now? What does a chosen one do? First, seek God daily, not just in emergencies, not just in church, but in the secret place where no one sees but heaven. The chosen carry a prayer life that is not public performance, but private passion. They search the scriptures like someone searching for breath underwater. They don't just visit God's presence, they dwell there. Second, live differently. The world will offer shortcuts. You take the narrow road. The world will chase comfort. You choose the cross. Spurgeon preached, "The truly chosen man is never content with halfway holiness." So, examine your life, not to earn salvation, but to honor the one who chose you. Third, be ready to obey, even when it hurts, even when it's inconvenient, even when it seems small. Because obedience in small things is often the test for greater things. Joseph obeyed in prison before he led in the palace. David worshipped in caves before he sat on a throne. Faithfulness in the hidden place prepares you for fruitfulness in public purpose. Fourth, love boldly. The chosen are marked by mercy. You don't withhold forgiveness. You extend it, even when it breaks you, because you know the one who forgave you much. And finally, remember this: you were not chosen because of your strength, but because of God's plan. He does not need your perfection. He delights in your surrender. Spurgeon said, "He who has chosen you will carry you. He who marked you will mold you." So, take up your cross, not in fear, but in faith. Let your life preach louder than your words. Let your choices reveal your calling, and never forget, you were marked to move. To carry the mark of the chosen is to carry weight, but also to receive wonder. God does not call you to walk in obedience without reward. He does not ask you to endure the fire without promising the glory that follows. The world offers comfort, temporary and shallow, but God offers presence and purpose, eternal and unshakable. Charles Spurgeon declared, "The Lord's chosen are not spared the storm, but they are sustained in it." The reward of the chosen is not just in the next life, it begins here, now. It's in the peace that surpasses understanding, in the middle of your storm. It's in the strength you discover, not before the battle, but in the midst of it. It's in the purpose you feel when your pain becomes someone else's healing. Romans 8:28 says, "All things work together for the good of those who love God, who are called according to His purpose." This is not just a verse, it is the anthem of the chosen. God does not waste suffering. He turns ashes into beauty. He turns tears into testimonies. Just look at Job. He lost everything, children, wealth, health. But because he remained faithful, God didn't just restore what was lost, He doubled it. The reward was not just material, it was spiritual. Job knew God more deeply because of the pain. Or consider Paul, shipwrecked, imprisoned, beaten. Yet he wrote, "This light momentary affliction is preparing for us an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison." 2 Corinthians 4:17. The world sees affliction. God sees preparation. And what about you? Your silent obedience, your private battles, your hidden tears. They are not unnoticed. Heaven watches, heaven records, and heaven will reward. Spurgeon once said, "If we suffer with Him, we shall also reign with Him." That reign is not only future, it's felt now, in peace, in joy, in purpose that no pain can steal. So keep walking, keep weeping it if you must, but know that every step, every scar, every surrender, it is storing up a reward that this world cannot match and eternity cannot erase. You are chosen, and the reward is real. Have you ever wondered why your heart burns when others seem cold? Why your tears flow easily in worship, even when no one else understands? Why your life has been marked not by ease, but by intensity, trial, and divine moments of awe? That's not coincidence. That's calling. You don't just carry faith. You carry a sign, invisible to the world, but unmistakable in the spirit. Charles Spurgeon once preached, "A man truly called of God will not run from the fire, but walk through it singing, for he knows who called him." You are not forgotten. You are not broken beyond use. You are marked, molded, and sent. This message wasn't to inspire emotions. It was to awaken identity. Because many feel chosen, but few understand what that actually means. Now you do. And if something in you whispered yes as you watched, then this was for you. The call is real. The cost is high. But the reward is eternal. So, what should you do now? Pray, not just for comfort, but for clarity. Respond, say yes to the process, not just the promise. Share, someone needs this word as much as you did. And comment below, your first name and the words, "I am chosen and I receive the call." Let the world know you're not ashamed of the fire, because you trust the refiner. Spurgeon closed one of his sermons with these words, "Those who are truly His will never be left without marks from heaven upon their lives." So carry this truth. You are not ordinary. You were never meant to blend in. You were chosen to shine. And this world may not understand you, but heaven recognizes you, chosen, marked, called. Now, walk in it. Now.
And now YouTube is suggesting 2 uplifting videos from our channel. Stay with us and see you soon.